Hello and welcome to this training video breaking down Little League's new 4-umpire system for the 60-foot diamond released in the spring of 2021. In this video, we'll outline fair and foul responsibilities for the plate umpire and the wing umpires, U1 and U3. And we'll also take a look at some of the teamwork mechanics that will be shared between the plate umpire and those wing umpires as well, and what to do with some of those more challenging fair-foul situations. Let's first go ahead and review the basic principles of fair-foul coverages between the plate umpire and those wing umpires, and then we'll move on to take a look at some video examples. First, go ahead and share my screen with everyone here. So let me go ahead and get set up with that. And again, all focusing then here on fair foul coverages. Now, these coverages will be very similar to what many of us know already about fair foul coverages in crews of 3, 4, and even 6. But here we're talking specifically about the 4-umpire system here. Let's first focus on the plate umpire. The animation's coming up, and as you see here as the animation gets drawn up, the plate umpire is going to be responsible for all fair foul on both lines, the first base line and the third base line, up to but not including the front edge of the base. So we'll talk about a pane of glass that's there, and if the ball hits that pane of glass, it's ultimately going to belong then to the wing umpire. So if it hits the pane of glass at the front edge of the base, that's going to belong to the wing umpires, but any ball then that either stops short of or is fielded in front of the base will belong then to the plate umpire. So the plate umpire then has all fair foul along both lines up to but not including the front edge of the base. Now, the other thing that the plate umpire will also assume responsibility for is a situation in which U1 or U3 has to abandon the line. Now, in what situations might U1 or U3 abandon the line? Well, if they get like a pop fly on top of them and they just have to get out of the way of converging fielders or a fielder trying to make a play, remember, affording freedom of movement is a priority in our mechanics. So if U1 or U3 has to abandon their position for fair foul to afford that freedom of movement, then the plate umpire is going to hold the line, and in those situations, as we'll see in some of the video examples, the plate umpire will go ahead and take the entire line. So let's talk here about the responsibilities of the wing umpires. U1 and U3, you see them in the animation. We mentioned that the plate umpire has anything that stops short of the base or is fielded in front of the base. That means then here that from the edge of the base and beyond belong to our wing umpires, U1 and U3. So U1 and U3 have the call from the front edge of the base and beyond, unless, as we mentioned in the previous slide, they abandon the line. We'll see some examples like when you get the ball on top of you, then you are going to have to abandon the line. If you have to abandon the line, don't come back to the line to render a fair foul decision. Rather, just go ahead and move to point of base. That way your body language is very clear, and that way, remember that when you abandon the line, that entire line goes back to the plate umpire who should be holding the line. Let's take a look here at a couple video examples to make sure that we bring these to life. Let's first go ahead and start with the ball that stops in front of the base. Remember that a ball that is fielded or stops in front of the base, as we see here, belongs then to the plate umpire. And we want to make sure that we do not have two umpires making the call. So this then belongs to the plate umpire. Our third base umpire is just going to go ahead and watch this one happen because, again, this ball is fielded in front of the base. And remember that anytime a ball is fielded in front of the base, or it stops before the base, that call then is going to belong to our plate umpire. As we see here, U3 does not make the call, but take a look in the bottom of the screen right here. We've got our plate umpire who is pointing fair. He is belt buckle on the line. He is straddling that line for a great decision there. Okay, so we can see here that our fair foul responsibilities specifically then here belong to the plate umpire. Again, a batted ball that is fielded in front of the base or one that stops in front of the base would belong to the plate umpire. So a bounding ball or a batted ball here that is fielded beyond the base then belongs to our wing umpire, just as we see here. This ball is fielded beyond first base, so it passes that pane of glass, that front edge of the base, and therefore our umpire here, U1, is going to go ahead and make that call. Now notice here U1 straddled the line for the fair foul, which is great, and then he moved into fair territory, which is great as well. So a great mechanic here then done by our first base umpire in this clip. And again, a batted ball fielded beyond the base, as we see demonstrated in this clip, that decision belongs here to our wing umpire. A bounding ball then that goes through. Okay, so the one in the clip before was fielded. This one goes through. It still belongs to our wing umpire. And here our wing umpire does a great job to get belt buckle on the line. He's still in foul territory. He's going to point fair. It is a bounding ball beyond the base. There is no need for him to chase this ball because it is a bounding ball on the ground. So all he needs to do is point fair, and then he moves in the direction of point of bag. That's what POB stands for, and remains chest to ball. Same umpire, different clip down the third base line. Here we get a shot, a bounding ball going down the line. Again, this is a bounding ball past the base, so this belongs to our wing umpire. He's going to point fair. And again, it is a bounding ball on the ground. There is no need for him to walk and chase through this one, unless you may have a tarp or something like that that'd be out of play down the line. But for the most part, a bounding ball we want to go ahead and let go. His timing on this call is great. He points fair, and then as you see here, this call not only belongs to him, he's going to point fair, and because it's a bounding ball on the ground, he needs to move to point of base, remain chest to ball as he does here. Okay, he glances for the touch, and he goes chest to ball. And then as we see him throughout the duration of this clip, he's going to get ready for his wedge. He's going to work point of base, own that territory, and make sure he's in position for any subsequent call at third base. But again, a bounding ball beyond the base belongs then to our wing umpire. Now, anytime we get a fly ball that is within 15 to 20 feet of the line, we not only want to go to render a decision here, but we've got to go out and track and chase this fly ball. So in this case, we get a fly ball that is going to be in that vicinity, 15 to 20 feet along the line. Our third base umpire goes out, belt buckle on the line here. Not only then is he there for catch, no catch, which is his responsibility because it'll be in his area of responsibility, but he's also there here for our conversation here on fair foul. So on this one here, we want to do exactly as he says. It's within the 15 to 20 feet range, so we're going to point fair, and then we'll go ahead and make the out call to confirm the catch. So again, a ball that's in the air, as we saw in that previous clip, we're going to give chase to, belt buckle on the line, and then if it's within 15 to 20 feet, we'll point fair or foul and then make our decision. Now remember that anytime a wing umpire abandons the line, as we'll see depicted here in this clip, that call is going to go to the plate umpire. So as you see, this one literally bounds on top of U1. He has to vacate that area to afford freedom of movement for those fielders, and therefore our plate umpire is going to hold the line, and our plate umpire would be responsible for the fair foul decision here on this play. Now, ideally, we'd like our umpire to get to point of bag on that one, but obviously getting out of the way and affording freedom of movement is the priority. And again, anytime we have an abandoned line like that, we want to give the line then to the plate umpire. Now, there may be some gray area in abandonment, and this is one of those areas. So here we have a ground ball down the third base line, and we can already see that our third base umpire is kind of starting to move out of the way. However, our third base umpire still is able to hold the line. And in this case here, he doesn't necessarily bail as we saw in the previous clip. Here, he's holding that line. We probably still want him closer to the line. And in this case here, we want to make sure that our plate umpire gets his eyes to his partner and gives this umpire a chance, because this is a bounding ball right on the bag. And obviously this umpire, the wing umpire, is closer to the call. So we want to give this umpire a chance to make a call. If he doesn't make a call, then the plate umpire can step in. But the situation we would like to avoid is two umpires either making the same call or two umpires obviously making a different call. So again, teamwork and proper use of eyes is really important on this clip. As we saw in the previous slide here, this one here, this clip, remember, complete abandonment. He's off the line, very clear that this one's going to belong to the plate umpire. But on the bounding ball here, because it's going to go over the base and because the third base umpire is still in the vicinity to make that call, we want to get our plate umpire's eyes up, not only on the ball, but we want to give our eyes to our partner to give him a chance. Make that eye contact. Remember, proper timing is a function, it's a result, a product of proper use of eyes, not only in watching the play develop, but also watching our partner. So we want to make sure we give our partner a chance here. Another great example of teamwork, in the previous slide, we actually had two umpires make the same call. We got lucky there. But here on this clip, we get another ground ball that's going to be let go by the third baseman. We have great teamwork here by our U3 and plate umpire here to let the ball go. Plate umpire has still not made a call just yet, which is great. Third base umpire is holding the line. It bounds beyond the base or that front edge of the base, so it belongs to the belongs to the base umpire. It belongs to the third base umpire here because it bounds beyond the base. He makes his call. We probably want him on the line. Okay, so we want him to be on the line or at least very close to that line. But again, only one umpire making this call, and it belongs then to the third base umpire. Go ahead and rewind these again. Again, we see two umpires making the same call in this clip. Remember, get your eyes up and allow your wing umpire to take it, which is exactly what this umpire does. Does a great job of proper use of eyes, not only to see the ball bounding beyond the base and know that it's not the plate umpire's responsibility here, but a good job of giving U3 the chance to go ahead and make the call. Again, we want to make sure we hold on to that line. Couple more challenging plays. We talked about bounding balls on top of us and then the gray area there of giving your partner a chance. What about a tweener? And a tweener is basically defined as something that's right just in the shallow outfield where you may be able to get out on it, but there may not be somebody that could rotate up to your base. So what we want to encourage you to do is do both, and that is to kind of use a standing set, like a standing scissors position, to observe catch, no catch, and in this case, fair foul, to watch that first, to stay in the vicinity of your base, and then move back to the base. So we don't want to necessarily give chase on these tweeners because it could potentially mean that our partners aren't going to go ahead and get to the bag in time. So here's an example of a tweener. Again, one that's kind of out there. Our third base umpire probably starts way too close in terms of initial starting position, but a quick tweener that's going to end up being a base hit. If he went out to cover this one, it would be really difficult for a lot of umpires to get to third base in time. So he's going to do both. He's going to go ahead and point there and then return back to point a bag so that he would have any subsequent play back at third base. Here's another look at it, kind of that tweener fair foul. We're on the line because it's 15 to 20 feet. And again, there's no need really to go ahead and chase it, but we have to have fair foul. We can do both. We can stand and straddle and then get back to third base here to point a bag. That way, we're not necessarily leaving our partners out to dry to try and get us there with the runner into third base. Another example here of tweener fair foul. Here you've got one that kind of just lands just right in that tweener spot. Okay, again, no need for this umpire to go and track this one because again, if we have a play back on R1 into this base, is U2 actually going to get there? So there's no need for us here on this tweener to go ahead and chase this one down the line. We need to do both as we saw the umpire try to do in the previous slide. Hang on to the fair foul first, make that decision, and then return to point a bag, chest the ball, so that we can go ahead and do both on these tweeners. And again, let's make sure that our partners, as you see here, can rotate in case we leave that base. We want to make sure we're not hanging them out to dry. Now, our body language is huge on these, and I'll show you this here in this clip. This is another one here that we don't necessarily need to go out on. So we can hold our position right here. So we've got a nonverbal here to say to you two that, hey, I don't need you to chase this one because this one's mine. It's kind of on the line in that 15 to 20 feet, very vaguely there. But nonetheless here, because this umpire goes out, it's really difficult for you two, realistically, to get back into the play. So not a great read here by this umpire. And again, which shows us that on these tweeners, we can turn and look, use that standing scissors set position, point fair, and then return back to our base. That way we're not leaving our partners out to dry. We want to make sure our partners can rotate to the base that we are leaving if there's a necessity for us to go ahead and track and chase fair foul. Again, same clip here. This one is kind of close to the line. Remember, 15 to 20 feet is our guideline here. But nonetheless here, we want to hold on to that position, point fair foul, and then return to point a bag here so that we can go ahead and do both. Both take the fair foul decision and then ultimately go ahead and also cover our base. Now that'll go ahead and wrap up fair foul coverages here in the 4-umpire system, Little League's new 4-umpire system released here in 2021. We'll be back with more videos to go ahead and break down the 4-umpire system throughout the course end of our preparation.